First of all, let me thank you for giving me this opportunity to keep you informed about the developments since the adoption by the Commission of our flagship initiative, Youth on the Move. Since I launched the Youth on the Move initiative more than 2 years ago, the Commission has participated in a number of Youth on the Move events across Europe. Many of the actions we proposed have already seen the light of the day, and I believe they have proved effective in raising people's awareness of the issues facing young people and of the work we are doing in the EU to tackle these issues. Today's event is a welcome opportunity to take stock of where we are and to look at the direction in which we are heading. And it gives us the chance to discuss the essential role that local and regional authorities play on the ground. Our debate has become even more relevant with the passing months. Slow growth and job losses continue to affect the lives of many Europeans, in particular young people. In a majority of member states, young people are confronted with unprecedented levels of unemployment. The latest figures of last October show that in 18 of the 27 member states, 1 out of 5 young people under 25 is without a job. And, as we all know, in some countries like Spain and Greece, over half are out of work. In the face of such dramatic figures, we all have a responsibility to act with the utmost urgency. But EU support to the member states can only be effective if everyone is on board, and the contribution at the regional and local level is essential. Let me briefly recall the main features of Youth on the Move, putting the emphasis on the educational aspects. The core strands are as follows. First, actions to help reform education and training systems from preschool to university level, with a focus on developing the skills that are relevant to the knowledge-based society. Second, specific measures to support transnational mobility as a means to gain valuable experience and transversal skills. And third, a range of measures to make it easier for young people to move into work, many aspects of which appear in the youth employment package, which my colleague Laszlo Andor spoke about, I understand, this morning. In partnership with governments, educational authorities, institutions and staff, the EU is working to help make European education systems fit for the purpose. This is vital if people are to acquire the skills they need to succeed in life. It is also vital if Europe is to expand its skilled workforce and remain competitive in the years to come. As we have been hearing today, Youth on the Move is certainly contributing to effective decisions on education and training policy, as well as investment at national, regional and local level. But I think that together we can do much more. Over the last couple of years, the Commission has been integrating education more deeply into the EU's economic policy making, a sure reflection of its growing strategic importance. More and more, the Commission's role is to highlight the most pressing priorities, identify core problems and bottlenecks, and then work with the Member States to develop practical solutions. This is the approach that drives the Europe 2020 strategy, and more specifically, Youth on the Move and the open method of coordination in education. All of these pieces are mutually reinforcing. On another level, the EU contributes by deploying its own financial resources, whether through specific programs in education, training, and research, or through the structural funds which channel funding to Europe's least developed regions. Let us be clear. Europe 2020, with its headline targets in education and its Youth on the Move strategy, marks a significant change in European cooperation in education. The EU is adding new value to the work of our national and local authorities, and I believe we should welcome this. As a result of Youth on the Move, a series of new policy frameworks have been put in place or strengthened at European level, from early childhood education and care, for early school leaving, for literacy, for cooperation in vocational education, and for the modernization of higher education. These are several initiatives that we have taken since the adoption of Youth on the Move. These strengthened frameworks guide the cooperation and exchange of good practice between member states. They also inform the Commission's own analysis of the challenges faced by individual member states, which in turn reflected in the country-specific recommendations that we publish every spring as part of the European semester. And this is, I think, something we should all celebrate, because if you remember, during the Lisbon strategy, we didn't have this means of monitoring what member states are doing and try to help them to adopt or to implement what they have agreed. Here, with the European semester, every semester, we issue the country-specific recommendations, pointing out to many member states what they have to do. For example, in 2012, country-specific recommendations relating to education and training were adopted for 26 out of the 27 countries. I think it was only Sweden. Only Sweden did not receive a recommendation. So the recommendations range from adopting measures to reduce early school leaving to increasing the number of higher education graduates. But there are also recommendations to bridge the gap between school and work by improving vocational education and training and skills provision, and by developing adequate and efficient systems of funding. And by the way, it was only 2 weeks ago that the Commission kicked off the 2013 European semester, when it adopted the annual growth survey, reiterating the crucial role of education and urging member states to prioritize investment in education. The Commission is equally committed to strengthening the support we offer to actors at national level in addressing those country-specific recommendations and the broader education and training challenges they face. This is partly about EU-level initiatives, comparative analysis, and identification of effective practice. Examples include the new methods for assessing the performance of higher education institutions we are developing through the multidimensional ranking of universities project. We have also launched a study into the impact of different models of funding in higher education. Both of these initiatives follow up on commitments made in Youth on the Move. It is also the Commission's role to look to the future, to consider the evolving trends affecting education and training systems as a whole, and to try to understand what it means. The new communication on rethinking education, which I presented last month, takes a system-wide perspective on education. Alongside the vital role of teachers and the impact of new technologies, Rethinking Education urges that learning should be more flexible and relevant. But it also stresses the crucial importance of cooperation and partnership. Cooperation and partnership between learning institutions and the outside world. Cooperation between sectors and across national, regional, and local levels of governance. In light of the crucial role of the regional and local levels in the provision of education and training, their involvement in the EU policy cooperation in education is essential. And we must do all we can to improve this. It goes without saying that you are central actors in this endeavour. In addition to EU support for policy making, there is also the issue of funding. It is vital that the policy cooperation I have been talking about is backed by European investment. The Commission is certainly committed to directing more resources from the Union's budget towards education, training, and employability. The structural funds, which are especially valuable in supporting the priorities of our regions and localities, will remain a crucial source of funding for skills. Earlier this year, the Youth Opportunities Initiative demonstrated how structural funds could be redeployed quickly to tackle youth unemployment, and in this instance in 8 priority member states. For the next programming period, 2014-20, we want to allow even more education and training projects to be supported through the Union's cohesion policy. Our dedicated funding for education, training, youth and sport will also offer crucial support to our young people. The new program I have put forward, the Erasmus for All, will strengthen EU support for education, training and employment and support the overarching objectives of Youth on the Move. It is a program which responds to the challenges of a new, ever-changing economic and social context. A program offering increased funding, a sharp focus on systemic impact and EU added value, while bringing simplification in procedures for the beneficiaries and those who implement the programs. With a proposed budget of 19 billion euros over 7 years, Erasmus for All provides a clear framework building an integrated program around 3 actions: learning mobility, cooperation and partnerships, and policy support and reform. It will bring innovation to our policy making and create a number of new tools to support member states. We will integrate our main activities in the youth area under the new program, building bridges between non-formal and informal learning and formal education. Through the knowledge alliances and sector skill alliances, we will build stronger links between education institutions and the world of work, with a view to boosting the employability of graduates, fostering entrepreneurship, and stimulating innovation. In short, the new program will offer more opportunities for young people to develop their skills and gain valuable work experience abroad, more opportunities for educational staff to learn from their peers in other countries, more opportunities for educational institutions, youth organizations, and other institutions, including regional and local organizations and administrations, to work together and learn from each other. Here again, without the central actors at regional and local level, the new program will never reach the full potential. As you know, the proposed program is still being discussed by the European Parliament and the European Council. Discussions are progressing, but no member state or political group is questioning the need for a strong and ambitious program. and I am confident that we can iron out the remaining differences in views and agree swiftly to a well-resourced programme. Dear friends, dear colleagues, we can be proud of what we have already achieved with Youth on the Move, putting in place new policy frameworks and actions to support Member States in addressing education and training challenges. Our Youth on the Move actions are feeding into the European semester, helping Member States carry out the reforms that are so vital to their education and training systems. But there is no room for complacency. The challenges are really great, and we must keep our effort. The regional and local levels have an essential role to play, and I believe we must ensure greater involvement on their part. That is why I welcome the role of the Committee of the Regions and the value of events such as today's. The Committee of the Regions has shown consistent support for enhanced cooperation and investment in education, skills, and employability, and I would like to thank your committee for this. I'm fully committed to this partnership as we work to further strengthen European policy cooperation in education and implement the new funding programmes.